All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this brand new interview. And today I got a really, really special guest. And boy, I was just, telling, Floris here, Floris van Vleuten. We've known each other for a long time, but I just wanted to start this one off saying, I was just talking with Floris, and we're both like Dutch. So I'm always used to like starting my videos or something in Dutch. So when I wanted to start it, I was like, oh yeah, like remember it's in Dutch, or oh no, wait, it's in English. Yes, it's in English. So that was just a reset for myself in terms of that everything is in English. But welcome to this interview today. I'm going to be having an interview with Floris. Floris, welcome. Thank you for making the time out of your day to have this conversation with me about a couple of things. I mean, I think started in my program. I think it was almost like around a year ago. I think close to like a year ago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a year ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago because I think like last year in May around this time we had our first live event, and you also came to the live event, and at that time like I think you joined. So yeah, Floris and I, we've known each other for almost a year, probably a little bit longer since we were in contact before he joined. And I today just want to get into his story. He now has a pretty successful agency focused specifically on Google Ads, and now focusing also, went from the Dutch market to the English market, and like US and Canada and whatever. But he's also a really interesting person because he's not located in the Netherlands, he's located abroad. So we have a lot to touch upon in this call, and I want to really make it a useful one in terms of the time we have. So Floris, once again, thank you for being here. Why don't we start with just a short introduction from your end, who you are, what do you do, and let's start with that and then take it from there, man.
Thanks for having me, man, and thanks for the sweet introduction. So yeah, it was a year ago when we started, but I personally started about 4 years ago with the whole agency journey. I started as a freelancer first, and I was interested in digital marketing in general. I studied digital marketing, or like a variant to digital marketing, and didn't finish though because I was too distracted with other things that come while you're studying, right?
Got it.
So yeah, I was interested in doing digital marketing for other clients as well, and it could be a very long story, but I'll try to make it short. But in 2019, I had a very interesting conversation with somebody who was already into digital analytics at the time. And I got some ads on my timeline from dropshippers, right? So I wanted to go into dropshipping. And I was talking to him. I said, I'm going to quit college and I am going to dropship some products from China, and I'm going to be a millionaire. That's basically what I told him.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, okay, you could try that, but you could also learn the skill that comes with selling a product. And then you are like very valuable for other brands as well. And that would probably be a better step. And that sparked the thought for me to get into digital marketing, basically. And then fast forward a couple courses, a couple coaches, and a couple mentors later, I was a like medium successful freelancer. I think I was 22 or 23 at the time, and I had a couple clients. I could live off it, and it was good. And I had an office. I felt kind of successful, but I always also knew that like there was so many more growth to come. And that's when you came on my timeline, or on my YouTube actually. And you basically persuaded me into jumping on a call with you. And you said like, okay, we could do this call. You don't have to buy anything. Let me just try to show you how much value I can provide. And I was like, okay, shoot away, right?
Yeah.
And that 1 hour call was so mind blowing at the moment that I was basically sold from that moment on forward. And that's basically when we started working together.
Exactly. Exactly, man. That's an amazing story. I actually didn't know so you studied digital marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, makes sense. Did you use any of the things you learned when you studied digital marketing, or like up until today in like your freelance or like your
Okay,
work?
so the first 2 years I used nothing, like literally nothing, because I wanted to learn very specific skills like media buying skills and everything.
Right.
But the later on like last year, I realized that all the marketing psychology stuff that I learned was kind of applicable. So
Got
it
it.
is useful, but like maybe 10% of everything that you learn.
Exactly. And you know, I asked it because like, you know, always like the school, what we learn in school, do we actually use it? Okay. So you were
Yeah.
freelance. So besides that person telling you about like, you know, digital analytics and everything like that, what made you, was it like specifically that thought of like, hey, why not learn the service to provide, you know, help brands with that and that product? What got you? Because maybe someone is watching this, of course, on the channel, they're thinking like, hey, I'm still looking to maybe do something, or like maybe, you know, what is SMMA? What is like the freelance work that you did, like what media buying? What were more like reasonings behind like you deciding to go that route and then not go into the typical like e-commerce route that a lot of people go to?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think it's very valuable to learn skills yourself to make yourself more valuable, basically. So that's the first thing. And because you will keep yourself, whatever happens to the market, you will keep yourself and your learning capabilities and everything, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is if you sell a skill and you sell the skill that you acquired, you get huge profit margins, and it's scalable to a certain point because you have like maybe 60 to 70 hours a week that you can
Yeah.
work, that you have output. So I would say, especially if you're a starter, 100% start with learning a skill and selling that to brands that in need of the skill, basically.
Got it. All right, that makes a lot of sense. And we'll get into just a moment also like your journey to now having your own personal brand and developing that, and as well as that. So walk us through. Okay, so you went to the freelance, and how many like with like up until the point that you came into like the program when we got into touch with each other, like were you already like focused on a specific like niche or like a specific service? Was it already like Google Ads and like brands, or what? Talk us through like, you know, what it was like up until the point that, you know, we met.
I think I already decided that I just wanted to do Google Ads when we started working together. But I think we came up with the idea together to do it just for e-commerce. I recall us having a call
Mhm.
and you asking me if I thought the e-commerce niche was growing or shrinking. And I said, it's growing. And then you said, then it's probably a good niche to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, 100%. And so you went into e-commerce like from that when we started. And like why Google Ads? Like why specific the focus on Google Ads? Because everyone goes this traditional route to like, you know, do Facebook ads, Meta ads. Like I do Facebook ads, get you 10 leads, 15 leads per month, right? Like the standard story. So why Google Ads? Like why did you choose that route?
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I tried basically everything when I was digital marketing freelancer, right? So I did
Right.
emails, organic social, paid search. I basically did everything for everyone as well. So I got to dip my toe in the water for a lot of niches and a lot of services. And what I found with Google Ads specifically, which I like personally, is that it's a mix between the technical knowledge that is required because you need to have kind of an advanced knowledge about how conversion tracking works and how you set it up in the back end of a website, basically. And that's
Yeah.
just what I like.
Hmm.
So that's one thing. And the technical part, and then you have the strategical knowledge, but it's less about creating creatives and videos, for example.
Yeah.
And I think that withheld me on Facebook ads, that made me dependent on other people and other agencies or other teams. And within Google, I like copywriting, I like being technical, and I like developing the strategy. So I could basically be the one person army and have all the knowledge that like in-house
Yeah.
to scale,
Right.
basically.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense, man. And for e-commerce specifically, I remember when you recalled like that we talked about like e-commerce, which niche to like go and like what to do and all those things that, you know, we went into e-commerce. So talk us through like how is, you know, because you were then back in the Netherlands, like for the people not knowing, like you were then like in the Netherlands, you had like a different like background that you have right now. So walk us through like how did everything go from that point, like when we decided, okay, e-commerce, Google Ads, I walk us through how did everything go with like your agency and then building it up to the point to where it is right now.
Yeah, it was kind of, because it went so fast. I don't recall like the
Yeah.
very specific timeline, but
Yeah.
what I do remember is once we decided the audience more specifically, I was more able to identify the problems of the audience and
Mm,
to even help them better. So it basically increased the value of my agency just by making that choice. And it increased the way that I could communicate with potential leads as well. So I was already a little bit active on LinkedIn, but like our trajectory helped with that as well. And now I've been growing on there very, very hard. So because I have a very specific audience to talk to, I know which problems they have, and people are interested in problems getting solved.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And so like for someone, being in the e-commerce and all those things, like I know like I, for example, had a lot of different like niches within like the e-commerce, like no specific like sub niches and all those things. What would you say is the importance of having maybe like a sub niche instead of like going like broad? Or would you say like going broad is the way to go? Or like, because like that's also a thing, like when people say, oh, I do e-commerce, I'm like, okay, well, great. Like, okay, so you help all types of e-commerce businesses, like all sub niches, or what is your look on that part regarding like the sub niches part of e-commerce?
Yeah. So I think if you're starting out, the more you niche down, the better,
Mm,
because you wanna help people, right? And if you want to help everyone, you help nobody because you don't understand the problems, right?
yeah,
And if you say, okay, it doesn't matter which sub niche you are, it doesn't matter if you have a big average order value or low ticket value, you're just making it kind of hard for yourself, because every sub niche and every difference in average order value has a different approach.
mm,
And for me, it was Google Ads for e-commerce, which is already a little bit narrowed down. And then we were lucky enough to have some high ticket clients, which
yeah,
we could work with. And now we are generally working with high ticket clients, but also because we are more experienced. I'm doing this for my 5th year now. We could
yeah.
go even more broad. So now we do just Google Ads for e-commerce.
Got it. Got it. It makes a lot of sense. And so when you say high ticket, do you specifically mean they have a higher average order value than like some other e-commerce businesses, or when you say high ticket, like
Yeah,
like, and also
yeah.
like follow up on that, what is kind of your like your fee structure look like when they're like more high ticket? Do you charge more, or like how do you do that?
Okay, so we don't have a different offer
Okay,
when a brand has low ticket or high ticket.
got it.
What I mean with high ticket is that they have a bigger order value, average order value for even for one product.
Right.
So we work with brands selling products from like 3,000 euros for one product. We are working with brands 5,000 euros for one product,
Oh,
and also 200 euros, which I find high ticket as
yeah,
well, because
yeah,
200 euros is kind of high ticket, right?
exactly.
And I found that the more high ticket a product is, the more you have to think about the funnel strategy
Mm,
a little bit, because
mm,
a lot of like, even if you have a lower ticket offer or a lower ticket product, chances are nowadays in 2024 that you need multiple touch points. So it is getting harder and harder. But like in general terms, if you have a very high ticket product, you need even more touch points for that. So the
mm,
strategy just becomes different.
mm.
And in terms of the pricing, we just have one pricing offer,
Got it.
and that just works very well for us. If there is a brand, for example, doing less than 20K a month, they're not suited for our service, and then this, like, the structure doesn't make sense either. So we refer them to other people then.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. I know a couple of people also in the e-commerce space, like in the US, and also what they do with those like making less than 20K. They have like a mini program, like of some sort, like a mini like course or something like that, and they refer them back to that and all in that sense. But you just simply refer them over, right, in that essence, to other like people that can handle that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And so regarding like, I know you went from the Dutch market to the US market. Now we have a lot of people in Europe that, watch what we do in that sense. So I'm curious to know like what was the tipping point for you to go from the Netherlands to like abroad? Like why did you make that switch?
Good question. So I was communicating on LinkedIn in Dutch, and I had a lot of Dutch followers, and I thought that it was giving me some uniqueness because people would like feel some kind of identity because I communicate in Dutch, right? And I think you and I were talking about this as well. And we decided to start writing in English because then my
Yeah.
market would just 100x, if not 1000x.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had to start over basically to learn to show my identity through English copy, right? Because I
Right.
wasn't used to writing any English copy. Um, but as like all worthwhile things, they take time. So after a couple of weeks, I learned to write copy in English that made me the person who I am,
Yeah.
even online. So it just took a couple of weeks, and from that point on forward, I got like clients from Canada and from the United States, and we are running campaigns there, and that's really cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And in terms of like your client acquisition, like did that change from like the Netherlands and to like the abroad, or like did it stay the same, or was there one thing that was working here and you just continued that, or like what about the client acquisition?
Okay, so we were in the Netherlands, and
Mm,
we only had clients from the Netherlands. And what happened was, not only did it expand and keep the Netherlands in there, but also the Netherlands like amplified for some reason because I
really?
think um, it gives some kind of professional touch if you write content in English and have an English website. You just seem like a serious, established international brand if you do it right. So we are getting a lot more clients from the Netherlands as well since then.
Really? Okay. Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's that's interesting. I love the pun intended by the way, amplified. It amplified it.
Mhm.
Amplifies Media is Floris is basically the agency name. So okay. So and would you say like, because I know you're posting content, what client acquisition way worked best for you for this specific niche? Because I know a lot of people go the route of like, sniper looms or emails, and then maybe some LinkedIn or like something like that, and maybe some content. But what is working best for you, like in essence of like coming in front of the clients and then, like you said, having maybe multiple touch points like with them? Like how do you do that?
Yeah, okay. For me, LinkedIn, 100%.
Right.
So even after we had our coaching program together, I joined another LinkedIn coach, and I basically doubled down on LinkedIn, and
Right.
it really brought me a lot of things, leads, a new colleague, a lot of international connections. So LinkedIn is just my favorite platform. I think if you double down on one platform, that's all you need, especially up to like maybe 100K a month. And
Mm,
then you can scatter all around Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube and everything.
right.
Um, so I would choose one favorite platform where you just like spending time because you understand that platform probably best.
Yeah.
For me, it's LinkedIn. I can scroll on LinkedIn like literally the whole day because I like consuming there. So I like producing there as well.
Mm,
Um, for me, I must say that I find it interesting to start expanding already. So I am creating some YouTube tutorials about how to set up Google Ads and how you
right.
can scale, and sharing some insights and some cases as well.
Right.
So I'm building on YouTube and trying out some different platforms. But in terms of client acquisition, LinkedIn was the best for me 100%. And I
Got it.
also got some leads from email, but LinkedIn is still best.
Got it. Not like paid ads or something, or running like ads for yourself, or LinkedIn, pure
Zero.
LinkedIn. Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, man. So LinkedIn is so what I'm hearing here basically from your story is you have one niche, kind of like one specific niche because it's e-commerce, but you have like high ticket, right? E-commerce like businesses that have a higher average order. So one niche, practically one offer. Of course, in Google Ads, you can go, display ads, specific different YouTube ads or like whatever, or search ads. So you have one niche, one offer, one way of client acquisition getting you the biggest return. You've pretty much, and then one service delivery, pretty much. If you think like everything is just like one. So if you think about it, you've pretty much just fully followed the blueprint, which is what I say to people, like, don't go astray in terms of like the niches, like choose a niche, choose a service, choose a client acquisition method, and then do the service delivery. Don't go adding a bunch of things in the bag. Just focus on these things and hone in, right? So tell us a little bit more about, like, you've done that now. Where is your agency standing at right now in terms of like the clients? Like, by the way, I didn't even ask you, like, when you started with me, like, where were you standing basically at that point in terms of like, clients, and where did it go to now, and what changed in the team? Like, are you still like fully in it, or like what was the change?
Yeah, so it was a pretty big change, and not just in terms of clients or the agency, but also in terms of how I viewed all possibilities within like the whole business space as a whole. Because online you view a lot of successful people and they're closing clients every week and every month, and
Right.
I was just not at that point. And I saw your ads, and you were kind of over promising, in my opinion, back at the time, right?
Yep.
And I was like, "Ah, I don't know if this guy does what he says, but okay, I'll jump on a call with him."
Yeah.
And after that one, probably, yeah, after that one coaching trajectory that we did, or coaching program that we did, my whole point of view changed. So that was basically for me a stepping stone onto way greater heights. So that's just what I wanted to say. In terms of client count, I think back at the time I was doing some freelance stuff which I couldn't count into my agency, right?
Right.
For my agency, I had like maybe 3 clients back at the time. I think 3 or 4 clients. Now we are at like, I think 20 plus, and 5 about to start. So almost 25 clients.
Wow. That's awesome. That's actually insane, man. And so the team, how did the team look then? And how does the team look now? Like, how are you managing everything? Like, are you still doing some work yourself, or like, how does that look?
Yeah, good question. Okay, so back at the time, I was doing everything on my own and about to hire 2 freelancers who could basically assist me with one thing or another. We did that for a while, didn't work out. Then I was on my own again. Now I have 1 full-time hire and 1 new full-time hire about to start. I must say I'm still working a lot of hours just because I like it. The idea is to go a little bit more out of the operations and
Hmm.
more into sales and marketing. Obviously, I think every agency owner wants that, or like 99% of all agency owners. Um, but it seems to be really happening now. So that's
Nice.
crazy.
Amazing. Amazing. I just get happy from this conversation, hearing like what you've accomplished right now. And so when you say you're only specifically working with like high ticket clients, in that sense, you mentioned you have like 20 of like almost like 20 active, 5 that are going to jump on. Is like, when you think about like your offer, is that also like high ticket? Because if they're doing like more than like 20K, right? Like in terms of like revenue, depending on their profits, of course, right? Like, how does your offer, like, is it also like high ticket for them? And is that like, because since you only focus on Google Ads, I can imagine you're not doing like email marketing, Klaviyo, meta ads, all these other things. You're just focusing on one thing. So you can like vertically pretty much just like scale up and just like cluster your team members basically to have them in place. But I'm curious to know about your, because you're 20 clients or 5 coming on, like, I actually have multiple questions, but let's start with the first. Is your offer also like high ticket for them? Like the one offer that you have specifically, and kind of how does that like look like, just to like give us an idea in terms of like when you have 20 clients, 5 to come, like what, what is the structure with them? Because I did, for example, a lot like revenue splits. And right now I told you before this call, I have like one client paying me like close to like 10K, per month, 2% like revenue, like total like sales. So how does that structure look on your end for e-commerce?
Okay, so let me just correct one thing. We don't only work with high ticket clients. We were like moving towards the high ticket niche back like last year because we had some high ticket clients, right? But now we serve all e-commerce businesses.
Got it.
So yeah, between 20 and 25 clients right now. I must say, not all clients are in the same model. We use one pricing model in general. But we have also some consulting clients, which we just coach on how they should run their Google Ads. And we have some partnerships as well with other agencies that white label our services.
Got it.
So that's important to know. We use our core offer. It's just full on Google Ads management, and it's based upon a base fee, plus like let's say 5% of the ad spend.
Got it. Makes sense. Got it. Okay, man. So, and then basically that's being like managed with the team that you have right now. And what are your like plans and goals like for this year? You already told me a little bit in terms of, what kind of the goals are, but and not only the goals in terms of like the agency, but also like the other one, like that you're preparing for right now for the
that
shortly.
goal.
I'm like talk us through like what are your plans like for this year with the agency and also like personal?
Okay. Yeah, so for the agency, we are now at a point where we are really, really scaling, and I'm very happy with that. So not only are we attracting a lot of new clients, but our current clients are going really well as well. So that's good. And I think we want to scale our agency this year to 100K monthly recurring revenue. That's our like our big North Star, right?
Yeah.
And knowing that last year we were at 3 or 4 clients, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
But I will just do everything in my power to reach that. So that's the agency goal. My personal goal, I got some personal goals as well. I told you just before the call, of course, but I'm gonna run the marathon of Bali in 4 months. And it's gonna be my first marathon, and I don't have any running experience. So it's gonna be something.
It's insane. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, and I was telling you, like in terms of like running and all those things, like like entrepreneurship is almost like being an athlete. Like it is like top of the league pretty much in terms of what you're doing, because especially e-commerce, there's a lot of people with like similar offers in the e-commerce space. So you being able to come in last year, differentiate yourself with what you're doing, and really achieve the results what you achieve right now really is set in stone, that if you just hone in on just the one thing and the niche, the offer, the client acquisition, and just find the right systems, you pretty much just can scale it like endlessly. So in terms of like the scaling part, like how do you plan on like scaling that, other than maybe tweaking the buttons on like LinkedIn, doing that more, hiring more team members? Like how do you plan on taking it to like the level that you just mentioned?
Yeah, so what I've found, especially the last couple of months, is that if we put our own clients at a very, very central point within our agency, then that brings us the most growth. Because not only will our revenue go up if our client spends a lot more on Google Ads, that's one thing, but also they will just be way happier. They will just stick around, and they will refer us to their friends and family,
right,
who also own business potential. So we still have a lot of referrals because we are doing a good job. If I say so myself. So we have like, I would say 2 or 3 referrals a month, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice, man. Okay, wow, and like referrals, I usually notice like are the easiest. Like when they come, it's like that you don't even have to sell. Like, it's like, well, like, let's jump on.
You
Like,
just show the offer.
you
That's
show
it.
the offer, that's it, and they jump in, man.
Yeah.
So awesome, man. Yeah, so I see time flies. We've already been talking for almost 20-30 minutes. So yeah, like, I just want to maybe finish up with a couple of things, like in terms of, you when you started with us and all those things, for the people watching, because they also maybe see our ads and they think like, dude, like, what is this guy talking about? He's like over promising maybe, or like, anything in that regard. Like, what we are like honest thoughts in terms of like when we worked, in terms of how it went, the value, everything like that, the good and the bad, because I think those are also important, if there were any. So people have an overview of that, regarding like the business blueprint, or like the agency blueprint that you joined back in the day. Like, what was your experience with it?
Okay, let me just structure my thoughts for a bit, because
Sure.
I want to share this well structured. I think I told you at the very beginning when I joined the program back at the time, and I think that the program when I joined was a bit different from now, but they might have a couple of similarities. But
Yeah.
back then, I already said that the information that I saw in there, because I already had some kind of knowledge, right? But that the information in there could take people from 0 to 10K a month easily. And I still think that. And especially when, like, since the update, when you update every piece of content, I think people could go to 50 or maybe even to 100K with your help. So I think there's no reason to have a limiting belief, a limiting thought. And I also think, as I know you and how willing you are to show what's inside, basically,
Yeah.
I think that if people view your ads, and if even in the back of somebody's head, he or she thinks, what, like, maybe this guy might give me one good thought that enables me to grow a bit more, I would just book in the discovery call, and see what Stefan has to offer. I think that's the most important thing that I wanted to share about this.
Amazing. I really appreciate it, Floris. And I can only say, man, I'm proud of you and only of the things that are going to come. Like, honestly, like, I'm even, learning things and hearing things here that I'm thinking like, wow, man, that's inspiring. And I think you're just going to, like I told you from the beginning, like the sky's the limit. I think, there's no ceiling to this. And yeah, I think you're doing a great job, man. So to finish it off, is there anything, lastly, that you want to maybe give the viewers to in terms of like the last thoughts, or maybe like where they maybe could find you, or like what you're doing, or anything that you want to finish off this great interview, I have to say.
Thank you for that in the first place. What I wanted to share, if anyone is either running an agency or wanting to run an agency, is to either review or re-review the problems or potential problems that your specific audience has. So specify your audience, analyze all their problems, and then that's probably the best way to give the best tailored solution. And the more you help one customer, the more your business will grow, because they will stick around, they will give you referrals, and they will become become worth more to your business. So that's it in terms of the agency. And if you're very interested in Google Ads for e-commerce content, you can connect me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to connect with you. And if you're more into like the video content style things, you could look up my name on YouTube as well.
Great. I'll probably leave a link down below somewhere in the description for you guys to check Floris out. Floris, I want to thank you so much, man. And who knows, we might have a second interview when you've hit all the numbers and, all those things that you just mentioned. Thank you so much for making the time on that front, and would love to have you again. For all the people that are watching, thank you for watching this interview. I hope you liked it. More will be coming soon. So I know we've been on and off a little bit in terms of these interviews, but we'll be coming out with more. Floris, thank you once again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.